Hi, this is Corey from SAS Pegasus, and today I'm going to do something a little bit different. What I'm hoping to do is to add a new page to SAS Pegasus itself, so the website that I use to build and sell SAS Pegasus. And the page that I want to add today is a project gallery. So what I have in mind is something kind of like this. It probably won't look this good. This is a website called One Page Love that is made by a friend of mine, Rob Hope. But basically what I'm imagining is this kind of card style layout, except instead of one-page websites, it's going to be a list of websites that have been built with Pegasus. That's my plan. I've got a little spreadsheet here of websites I want to add. I have some ideas in terms of maybe using this card component, and let's dive in and see how it goes. So as we do, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a new URL route for this page. And let's see, I'll kind of just stick it here at the top. We'll call it maybe gallery. I'm trying to remember why I have this class-based view here. I normally like to use functional views. So I'm going to make a new functional view for this. I'm going to call it project gallery and project gallery. And we won't worry about the context for now. Then we'll go ahead and make that template. Don't want to add that to Gits. And for this template, I'm just going to kind of like put in a little hello gallery. Just kind of make sure we got all the glue in piece, the glue in place here. For our URLs, we want the project gallery. Where'd that go? So now if I go to gallery, hopefully, hello gallery. Okay. So far so good. So we've got our skin here, our footer here, and the meat of the gallery is going to go inside there. Real quick, I just want to kind of get that looking a bit better. And well, I guess we want to put it in kind of like a, let's see, probably something like that. Let's look at the landing page. I'll just kind of use the same. Okay. Basically, we want a container-like thing. It's a little bit hard to explain why this is kind of annoying, but basically Pegasus, I originally created Pegasus on the Bulma framework. It was built before Tailwind CSS existed, and I have since kind of started porting more and more things to Tailwind, and I want to build this new page in Tailwind as well. So I'm just trying to kind of find a page that will have a Tailwind component that is kind of what I want. It might be something like this without this data. So I don't know. Let's just kind of try throwing that in there and see how it goes. Put the header inside there. Close the div. Let's see if that looks any better. Yeah, okay, that's fine. We could potentially do something like that. I'll probably come back and revisit these a little bit, but just to get something in place. Some of the projects Okay. So that's not too bad. So the next thing I want to kind of do is I want to try to get a grid going. So I'm going to try to, I don't actually have a lot of experience with grids, but I'm going to try to get this CSS grid going, something like this. And then let's just see if this kind of does what we expect there. Okay, and let me just make sure I'm running my, okay, so I'm not sure why that's not working. Maybe because I'm in the wrong page. Grid template column, grid calls is probably what I want. Yeah, so I want something like this. Grid calls for gap4, okay. I think we want grid calls 3, gap4. Let's see what that does. Where'd that go? Yeah, okay. And now what happens if I put in some more? 4, 5, 6. Yeah, okay. So that looks good. Now I want to kind of just gonna try to copy in this card component. Maybe we'll just say I'm gonna include it as maybe a subtemplate. So include web components gallery project card. Like that. Create that file and then paste this flowbyte component in there. Oh, it's not, didn't get the file extension. Okay. Let's see if that works. Okay. Not too shabby. So we can kind of just, for now, eventually we'll back these models by a DB, so I'm not gonna mess around with the for loops and stuff too much, but for now we can just kind of lay this out, see how it looks. Gap 4 seems a little big, maybe gap 3, I don't know, a little smaller. Oops. Gap 2. Yeah. And just for the sake of completeness, instead of using this sort of relative image, we'll use an absolute image so we can kind of see that in place. And again, eventually we'll add our own images there, but that looks pretty good for sort of a first pass. Don't know if I care about the buttons, so maybe we'll get rid of those buttons. That'll also kind of clean up. And then each of these cards can be their own link, like the whole card can be the link. Yeah, I don't know, I mean, I wish that the vertical spacing was the same as the horizontal spacing, but I'm bad enough at CSS and Tailwind that doesn't seem like it's a road that I'm going to go down now, or should I? I guess I can try and inspect what's going on here. So, I don't know. So if I remove that, they get smushed together. Okay, so the gap is being applied on top of some other thing in these cards, except the cards don't seem to, is it a max width thing? What happens if I, I think it is a max width thing. Because if I make this smaller, I'll apart from it looking horrible, it also looks okay. So it's the max width, I guess. So let's see if I remove the max width class. Oh. I can do that in here. So I actually like that bigger gap once we are able to sort this out, but let's remove that. Now, there we go. That looks much better. So, yeah, I mean, this is actually, as an MVP, this is actually already relatively close to what I want to do. So I guess now we can just maybe build out the backend and call it a day. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to format this file because it looks like it's got too much spacing. Okay, so let's see. Probably going to do this in the web application. Just debating whether I want to kind of create a new data, an entirely new app for this, or whether I kind of want to just shove these models in with the web app. I guess I'll make a new app. Why not? Yeah, why not? Gallery models, and we'll call this a maybe a gallery item. I already have something called a I already have something called a project in Pegasus. Like, that's where people make their own projects. So I'll call this a gallery item. It's not my favorite, but that's okay. This AI is doing some nice things. So yeah, it's hail name, max length equals 100. Then maybe a description, probably a text fields, no max length, URL fields, and how did you know I wanted an image? Is image the right thing to call that? Sure. And upload to gallery. Okay. Well, that was fun. I'm relatively new to having AI in my IDE, so that was a nice experience. Next, let's add it to our installed apps. And let's see, we can make migrations and migrate it. Cannot use image field because pillow is not installed. Do we want to use an image field, or do we want to use, so for, what do we do for profile pictures? For profile pictures, we just use a file field, validate profile picture. Yeah, maybe I won't bother with the image field. Maybe we'll just make it a file field. Pillow's a pretty heavyweight library. I don't think we really need it. And I'm going to call this validates image, since it's It's no longer just validating profile pictures. Validate image. Import that guy. Upload to project gallery. And then back in here, I'm going to change this to image. Let's see if that was used anywhere else. Probably should have used refactor in my IDE. All right. Sounds good. Let's try this again. Okay. Sounds good. I think, since this is my real project, I'm going to do like real Git best practices. And so first thing I'll do is I will, oops. Edit profile picture. And then initial. Okay. All right. So now we need an admin. Where'd that go? We'll just use the admin. This is like a perfect case for the Django admin in terms of managing these guys, since I'm literally the only person who's going to be doing this. Wow. I love this. Gallery item? Is that what I called it? No. Let me make that a relative import. Let's display name, description, URL. Is that what we called it? Don't think we really need a list filter there. You know, this should actually extend base model. We'll give it a nice created at and such. Maybe created. Oops. Okay. Let's see if that works. Okay. Cool. So let's just go ahead and put in one of these. So we'll do kind of some of the flashier ones. Photo room. This is probably one of my favorite Pegasus customers. They are a very successful company. That in. We can probably just grab, I don't know, Magic Photo Studio on the go or create personal Magic Photo Studio on the go. And then, you know, I'm not too sure, like, I'll have to kind of eventually have to kind of standardize on how big a screenshot we want to do for these things, but for now Let's see, photo room. Okay, maybe we'll make a new folder here. Oops. Okay. We are going to have to reproduce this in production, so I'm not going to do too much in the way of adding these, but I want to add at least like 3 just to get it. Get a sense of what it'll look like with some real stuff in there. So let's add a couple more. Maybe, let's see, typefully is another good one. These guys didn't actually build on top of Pegasus, but they did buy Pegasus to learn some best practices and possibly influence some of the features inside. Write better content, grow your audience faster. I wish that kind of these taglines said a little bit more about what the product actually does, but that's okay. And we'll do one more. How about Atla? Atla's a cool one as well. They're doing satellite and high resolution aerial imagery. That screenshot had a... Okay, where'd it go? Okay. Well, we've got 3. That should be enough to at least get 1 row of these things, which will be a decent start. So let's integrate those in. Go back to the views now, and we're just going to, let's see, I guess we'll just grab all of them. Probably what I'll do eventually is add some kind of ordering to these, because I'll want to be able to sort of explicitly control them. Yeah. For now, we don't really need to worry too much about that. And then we're going to do, so now we'll do a little for loop for gallery items. Good. Project card. So our image source will now be gallery item dot image dot URL. See if that works. Alt text could be gallery item dot name. I have to think about these links. I kind of want the whole thing to be a link, so I wonder if I can do it just like that, and then href equals gallery item dot what's URL. Maybe remove that image tag, that image tag, or that link tag rather. And then here h5, we'll make this the name. And here in the P, make that the description. Something like that. So now an A. See how it, yeah, all right. That actually looks not too bad. Links are working. All right. So I'm pretty happy with how this has turned out so far. I will definitely improve on it a little bit. I would like this to, you know, really pop. But that's going to be kind of a much slower, tweaky kind of process. And I won't subject you to the pain of me trying to struggle with making things look good. So yeah, I feel like that's a good place to wrap it. Hopefully this gallery will be live by the time this video is published, and you can go check it out. All right, I will see you next time.